This is SIG Scalability meeting, 7th December. And we will be talking about the scale test on AWS, right?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so. Harish, can you add it in the agenda?
Yeah, so basically we have this 5K test that I've been running, which is measuring the pod SLOs and the API server SLOs. But like we want like some kind of mechanism in place to basically notify us in a way like if the tests are failing, so that like we can just go start looking into it. The other thing that is like some kind of on-call mechanism we wanted to implement for this, right? And also we wanted to make sure like what's the process from here to get them to like release blocking now that the tests are up and running, so that like we can consider these the signals from these tests as like, oh.
Okay, so for the release blocking, I think it just makes sense. Like if we find that the tests are failing and we debug like what's the root cause, right? Then you can just raise it, I think, on SIG Scalability, and we can go from there to make it release blocking, right?
Yeah.
But I think release team also checks our scalability tests, so they are aware when they are failing.
So I'm not sure like if they're like aware of like the latest test that's got added, like which is on AWS, COPS and AWS. Like
Probably not yet. Probably not yet, I would be guessing.
Okay. So what is the notification mechanism that we wanted to have for this?
So I think TestGrid is sending emails, and you can configure it to what specific email address, I think. But I'm not sure, to be honest. Maybe Wojtek, do you know better how it works for the GC tests?
Sorry, I was doing something else. Can you repeat?
I was wondering, like, do you know how the notifications for failing tests work right now? I think TestGrid is sending emails, right?
You can configure in TestGrid like the emails to which the notifications should be, or the notifications about failed test should be coming. I think we have them configured to. Well, I can probably check it now.
It was for sure like SIG Scalability group, I think.
I think it's our public mailing list, but
yes, for sure. I think I saw it. Like I'm receiving those emails whenever they fail.
Yes,
so.
Yes, it's our public mailing list. So
yeah, I see it too. Like actually, it's in the TestGrid alert email annotation.
Yes.
So I mean, I'll go ahead and like add EKS scalability, like so that like we are also like getting this. So what is that actions that you guys take today? Like when you see these failures, like is there any on-call mechanism that the upstream is driving today for like when they see like GCE test failures? We would like to like join the same thing for AWS.
Yeah, so there is like internal on-call at Google, I think, that just keeps track of it for the GC tests, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is that like for AWS, like we have to like just track it on our end, or like is it going to go from the like are we gonna make like a one different on-call group right now, like so that like everyone is like looking into that?
That's a great question. So I think it depends, because like in the past, we also seen some like infrastructure related issues, right? Then, you know, like if it was because of the GC, let's say, then obviously Google folks are better equipped to debug that. And I would guessing it will be the same with AWS. The question becomes like, what if the failure is, I guess, in both scalability tests? Like, how do we go about it? Do we debug in parallel, or we kind of like help each other? I think it would make more sense probably to align that if we see that those both tests are failing, then we could just work on debugging that together.
Okay. So how does the community drive that? Like, I'm just like trying to understand like how that effort is going to, like, let's say like tomorrow, like if the AWS test and the Google test, both of them are failing. So who's gonna involve who, or like,
Yeah, I think so. I think I would be expecting from AWS Shyam to kind of, monitor that.
okay.
I think because, he's part of SIG Scalability and he usually keeps touch of, like, he just sees like what's going on. So I think like he would be the contact person for us, I think,
Okay.
whenever AWS tests fail. And I guess we should just sync with him and see what he thinks about it.
Sounds good. David, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I think we can try to hear the opinion from Sham. But I think probably he should not be the like single point of contact when it's going forward. Since for example, in this month, I think Sham is on vacation. So if something goes wrong and you just contact them, we can never know. So probably we can set up a like on-call mailing list on AWS side to monitor this kind of failure, and also have Sham in that mailing list, probably.
Yeah, I mean, as a starter, basically, I'll add like EK scalability, email address, so that like we are already like proactively like knowing like will know like if there are any failures. So, and pretty much like all of us will be part of that group anyway. So, and then we can probably like engage from our side, like with Google, if they are also seeing the failures.
Yeah, exactly. I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But thanks.
So, Harish, I think another thing you probably want to clarify here is some discussion about the scale test cost for the AWS.
Oh, I think that was discussed already in yesterday's meeting. Like, I think the infrastructure team meeting group, I think they've already discussed and they're working on like trying to reduce the cost for these test runs so that like they are within the annual budget that's allocated. So that should, uh, so that's a separate effort that's been going on. And like I've made a couple improvements. I think others are also making a couple of improvements. I don't know if like it falls under the responsibility of the SIG scalability group, like for that efficiency or like meeting the budget.
Yeah, I think partially it does, but when we are bootstrapping the test, right, then like for the GC, for example, like we were reducing the frequency of the tests because like the GC tests were quite fine-tuned in terms of like cost. So the only thing we could do was just reducing the frequency. But looking at the issue that I saw on the GitHub, in the AWS case, I think there is still a lot of we can improve, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think this probably like some of the improvements are more like most of the majority of the improvements will be on the COPS. So that might probably affect Google as well when they transition over to COPS. So something to keep an eye on.
Okay. Yeah, I was so actually was I can't remember who was the person who wanted to migrate the GC test to KOps.
I think
There are-
Updrive working on that, if I remember correctly.
I think there are multiple people who want that, including myself. I'm not sure, like, if you're saying that someone is already working on that.
I saw the thread today on the Slack that someone was saying like
Okay, I didn't look into that.
they really want to do it. So anyway, what I wanted to say is that I already did scale test, like 100 nodes scale test with KOps. So that's possible for sure. Not sure about 5,000, how it works. But anyway, like if someone will be looking into that, then I'm happy to help.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I guess we don't have any more topics, right? So thank you all. And I guess see you in a month, right? Because in 2 weeks it will be already holiday season, I think, right?
Yeah, it's technically probably it's not a holiday yet, but I guess most of
Oh,
people will
almost,
be
yeah,
off.
almost holiday, yeah.
So I guess we should probably cancel it.
Okay, let's do that. I will just put the note then. And
Thanks.
delete the event. Thank you.
Thank you all.